The image of Ian Baker Finch lifting the claret jug at Royal Birkdale in July 1991 is etched into golf history. A smooth-talking Aussie finally cashing in on more than a decade of grinding around the world, sealed by a fearless, red-hot weekend where everything clicked and his name became permanent. Yet just a few years later, that triumph collided with scenes no one expected. Public struggle, fractured confidence, and a collapse so sudden it stunned the sport. Baker Finch was in a flash in the pan before his major. After turning pro in 1979, he built a respected career with 17 worldwide wins across the PGA Tour, European Tour, Japan, and Australasia, though he was never labeled untouchable elite. His open history mirrored that tension, promise without payoff, highlighted by leading St. Andrews in 1984 before crashing to a final round 79, then years of missed cuts until a sixth place in 1990 hinted at redemption. That redemption arrived spectacularly at Birkdale, where tied after 54 holes, he unleashed fearless golf, 64 on Saturday, 66 on Sunday, the lowest open weekend ever at the time, storming out with a blistering front nine and closing at 8 under to win by 2 over Mike Howard, briefly lifting him into the world top 10. But instead of freedom, the claret jug brought crushing expectation. Every swing was dissected, momentum vanished, and the ease that powered his victory evaporated as he began battling his own thoughts, with results quietly sliding even as the champion's smile masked the first visible cracks. By the mid-1990s, the decline was no longer subtle. It was loud, public, and impossible to ignore as Ian Baker Finch began missing cuts at a shocking rate, especially in majors, the very arenas where he once thrived, including a brutal stretch of more than 20 consecutive missed cuts on the PGA Tour that stunned fans and commentators alike. Rounds unraveled quickly, swings collapsed under pressure, and shots that were once automatic suddenly felt impossible, with cameras capturing the visible frustration of a recent major champion coming apart in real time. The most disturbing part wasn't the scorecards, but the mental spiral behind them: lost confidence, relentless overthinking, and fear creeping in before he even pulled the trigger. Practice sessions grew longer, swing changes piled up, and the trust that once anchored his game slowly vanished, turning golf from a refuge into a mental maze. Boxed in by the heavy label of Open Champion and sky-high expectations, many self-imposed, pressure multiplied with every appearance as off-course demands drained his energy. In the middle of that chaos, Baker Finch made the fateful decision to overhaul his swing in pursuit of more distance, a move many believed was unnecessary and dangerous. Coach David Ledbetter warned he already had a perfect major-winning setup, while mentor Peter Thompson called it a tragedy, insisting his brilliance from 100 yards and needed no added power. Baker Finch later admitted a quiet insecurity had driven the change, a lingering belief that he didn't measure up physically to icons like Faldo or Norman, a doubt that ultimately accelerated one of golf's most painful mental collapses. That open win didn't calm Baker Finch's doubts, it amplified them, pushing him to remodel his game into something it was never meant to be. Rather than trusting the skills that had earned him a major, he chased an idealized image of what a champion should look like. Advice poured in from legends like Nick Price, Sandy Lyle, Sev Ballesteros, and Greg Norman, sometimes sought, often unsolicited. Coaches piled on as well, until his mind was flooded with conflicting voices. The smooth, natural rhythm that once defined him got buried under overthinking, and harmless tweaking spiraled into a full-blown confidence collapse. The drop wasn't gradual, it was sudden and accelerating. Baker Finch reached a point where he didn't even want to step on the course. Missing cuts became routine, his world ranking plummeted, and the confidence that once carried him evaporated. On the practice range, he looked smooth and locked in. The talent was still there, but tournament pressure exposed a brutal mental block. Drives leaked weakly and wide, mechanics froze, trust vanished, and the fear of failure consumed him. The snap hook left, especially under out-of-bounds stakes, became inactive, paralyzing blocker desperate for answers. He consulted more than 30 coaches, sports psychologists, hypnotists, nutritionists, and swing gurus. Fans sent over 4,500 letters with advice, all of which he read and responded to. Nothing worked. The Open, once his stage of triumph, became the theater of his public collapse. At St. Andrews in 1995, paired with Arnold Palmer in Palmer's final Open, his opening drive sailed wildly out of bounds, 120 to 170 yards left of target, a shocking miss under the loudest spotlight imaginable. By 1997 at Royal Troon, The nightmare intensified, low on representatives, low on confidence. He staggered through rounds that produced scores unimaginable for a former Open champion, culminating in a 92 plus 20. The final hole highlighted the depth of his collapse. Facing a simple 60 to 80-yard approach, fear paralyzed him completely. He couldn't even swing a wedge and instead gingerly bumped an 8-iron toward the green, a shot more fitting for a beginner than a major winner. The emotional crash was immediate and devastating. In the clubhouse, Baker Finch broke down, curling up on the floor with his wife Jenny and caddy Todd Woodbridge for 45 minutes, spilling out years of pressure, fear, and shattered confidence. That day marked the point of no return. After Tron, Baker Finch's elite playing career never recovered. Confidence shattered, and the grind of tournament golf became emotionally draining rather than thrilling. Starts grew fewer, results remained rough, and the pressure never let up. He tried stepping away and then returning, hoping distance would reset his mind, but each comeback carried the same weight, the same doubts, and the same fear waiting on the first tee. The game he once loved felt hostile, and the gap between who he was and who he had been only widened. Eventually, Baker Finch made the hardest decision, accepting that elite competition was no longer where he belonged. It wasn't weakness, it was survival. Walking away became a way to protect himself from further damage and relentless public scrutiny. Yet his story didn't end there. He reinvented himself, finding purpose as a broadcaster, analyst, and respected voice of the game. Through honesty, openness, and humility, he transformed pain into perspective, proving that golf's toughest battles aren't always physical. They are fought inside the mind, where trophies offer no protection. The Baker Finch's final competitive moments underscored the depth of his struggle. Leading into the 1997 Open, he displayed almost no ability to compete at the highest level. Between 1995 and 1996, he entered 29 PGA Tour events and missed the cut in every single one, a complete breakdown of his competitive game. Public collapses weren't confined to the Open. At the Coolum Classic in Australia, after a brutal stretch of shots, he hurled his driver into a tree, scooped up his ball, and stormed off the course. When the press confronted him, the usually composed pro cracked, asking, "Why can't you all leave me alone?" From that chaos, a new path emerged. In 1997, CBS offered him a chance behind the MIC, and by 1998 he was breaking down the game as an analyst. By 2007, he joined CBS Sports full-time, earning respect as a sharp, honest, and insightful voice in golf coverage. His hard-earned scars lent weight and credibility to his commentary, and in the broadcast booth, Baker Finch finally found peace with the game that once tormented him. Without a club in his hands, the pressure finally eased, and Baker Finch's love for golf slowly resurfaced. He spoke with empathy rather than ego, breaking down swings while showing a deep understanding of what fear and doubt can do to a player under the gun. Viewers connected immediately. His words carried credibility because they came from lived experience, not theory. When a player struggled, Baker Finch didn't pile on. He explained the moment, the tension, and the mental grind behind it. That honesty set him apart and rebuilt a reputation rooted in respect today. Baker Finch's story stands as one of golf's rawest lessons about success and pressure. His rise illustrated how quickly dreams can come true, while his fall revealed how fragile confidence really is. One win changed everything, not because it wasn't earned, but because of what followed. He didn't disappear or hide. He faced it head-on, turning pain into perspective and failure into understanding. Baker Finch proved that greatness isn't measured solely by trophies but by resilience, honesty, and the courage to keep showing up when the spotlight feels unbearable. His insight into pressure and the mental side of golf resonates deeply because it's lived, not learned from a book. Every comment carries real scars and real moments, lending authority to his voice. The success he found in broadcasting isn't just about TV. It's proof of personal resilience beyond the scorecard. Baker Finch stayed active behind the scenes too, serving as assistant captain for International Presidents' Cup teams and leading Australian Olympic golf squads. In early 2024, he was named chair of the PGA of Australia, a clear signal of the respect he commands within the game. Ian Baker Finch leaves a layered legacy. Forever the 1991 Open champion who reached the top with class, skill, and heart, and also the cautionary tale of one of sport's most jaw-dropping collapses, a stark reminder of how quickly confidence can vanish under pressure. Yet through broadcasting success and enduring respect, he proved real resilience and genuine love for golf. He didn't vanish. He rebuilt, found redemption, and carved out a second chapter that continues to resonate across the game.